Welcome to episode 9 of Ember Episodes. This is our weekly podcast where we discuss all things DeFi, as well as our digital agency, our token, and our commitment to being a light in the dark alleys of crypto. My name is JR. I'm CEO and co-founder of Ember, and I will be your host today. Wanted to take this time to wrap up 2022 and start to discuss things for 2023. And there's a lot to be thankful for, and a lot of accomplishments this year, a lot of goals that were set, and things that we're going to be pursuing even deeper into 2023. This episode's titled "That's a Wrap. What's to come in 2023." Pretty vanilla, I know. But we want to run through our insights, our accomplishments, and our growth in 2022, as well as take a really kind of high-level dive in Q1 of 2023 to kind of see what that looks like. I know that's been a popular topic in our Telegram chat. I've had certain DMs about, what's to come in the new year, with hopefully a fresh bull run hitting us in the first or second quarter. Fingers crossed. So we're going to kind of jump into really where we started, and by the time we can get to the where we're at now, we're going to jump straight into where we're going. I think it's important to see where we entered the market and the unprecedented things that we went through, as well as the growth we experienced through it, and what we did with that growth, and what we did to serve the community. So I think if I could paint a picture of what a successful launch could look like, it would have looked like Ember. Okay. I think a lot of products in the space tend to not plan enough. They don't have enough governance. They don't have enough advisory. They don't have enough thought that goes into their brand, or that goes into their business, for those that create a legit business in this space. And we did everything we could to launch as well prepared as possible. We communicated well. We had a really strong launch, and we really didn't market a lot. For those of you that are listening in that were a part of it, I think you'll remember that we didn't market this. We didn't shill this. We asked you not to shill it. We didn't want this hype train building up and then not knowing what the market was going to bring us, right? For those of you that weren't a part of our pre-sale or the early stages of Ember's Ember token launch, we intentionally didn't want to market. We wanted to have a nice soft entry into the market, prove our value, prove our commitments, introduce ourselves, and let people get to know us as a business, not just us as a token. I want to say we went and hit about a 91 or 92x growth in a matter of 2 months, and two and a quarter months, something like that. We started 190,000 plus or minus market cap, and almost got to 20 million. And given the fact that we organically marketed this, we had we had a pretty, ideally we had a pretty simple pre-sale. It was very private. It was very intimate. It wasn't anything that we blasted all over social media. We didn't want a parabolic spike. We didn't expect that. I'm not ungrateful for it, but obviously that creates sell pressure, and that's what we were trying to avoid. And so, looking back, I'm still thankful for it, because we were able to grow to almost 20 million and come back down to, about a $2 million floor. And we've rested strong through that. We are stable. We're confident, and we're really not breaching that floor. We have truly diamond-handed holders that believe in our long-term vision. They believe in what we're doing, not just as a product, but as a business. I want to take that as a segue to remind everybody that Ember is a lot more than a token. The token is a byproduct of the business. We are an agency first company, and that means us as an agency, a digital agency in the space, we're always going to commit our time into our service leadership, and our services, and our consulting, and the things we build for others and ourselves. That gets top priority and takes precedence over anything we do. Doesn't mean our token takes a back seat. It just means that with our growth of the agency, the token grows with it. And when you talk about growth, something that really covers that, when you talk about growth, the second thing I want to really talk about is our community. We have built truly, and I'm sure plenty of other projects say the same thing, and they might ring true, right? I think we have built truly one of the best communities in crypto. I think if people came in and saw the maturity of our community, the humor at the same time, and a little bit of degen plays that we see, I think they'd be pleasantly surprised and realize they've surrounded themselves with a family, and that's how we've looked at it. By day 3, we had hopeful moderators in line to help support our community growth to the tune of about 20 people. Those 20 people became a very integral part of Ember, and it's one thing to think, oh well, we have like the real team, and then we have moderators. That's not how we look at it. Our mods are our team, 100%. And I can only hope that as we grow, they can grow with us in many different ways that suits their needs, suits their lifestyle, their time zone, everything. I think we stretch across, let's say, 10 or 11 time zones with people on our team, and that's something to really be proud of. A lot of businesses struggle to reach, to have global reach. Excuse me, they struggle to get across the pond, no matter where you're at. And I think I couldn't dream of having a more supportive team, and that team helps support our community. Our community are our investors. Our community are our marketers. They're people who believe in our vision as business owners. They believe in our vision as product owners, and have put their money into something that they see long-term value in. I think we live in an environment in DeFi that is very absent of long-term philosophy and long-term thinking. And that's why when we built our advisory board, we wanted people that weren't already in this ecosystem. Charlie, our risk management advisor, Greg, one of our business advisors, our attorney, Mike, none of them came from DeFi. We wanted people that came from traditional private equity and people that really were very new to this space, so they'd have fresh eyes on it. Those fresh eyes are going to drive a lot of good decision making and very neutral decision making, DeFi agnostic. And I think that's critical for us as a business, because we don't just thrive in here. We don't just thrive in DeFi. We don't just thrive in Telegram. As much as we love our community, that community has kept us going. Our goal is to reach beyond the bounds of DeFi and impact other businesses, impact brick and mortar companies that can benefit from the things we bring to the table and the things blockchain can bring to the table that we can be a bridge to. And that's a big part of 2023. We'll get into that in a minute. So, looking at the token itself, right? Agency aside, we'll talk about that in a minute. The token itself has held a really strong floor. Again, we're just around about 11.1, 11.2x at this current date, which is the 30th of December. And I'm really proud of that. I know I'll look back on this video at some point and think, man, we had a really humble beginning, because I do believe we're going to grow really, really strong next year. The cool thing about what we've done in this time period, I'm referring to is basically a red market, right? It's a bear market. We went into a really harsh crypto winter right after launch. It's like we had this huge spike, and I think there's a lot of really promising people that were going to own the floor with us, right? They were not going anywhere. We're going to stay here. We're going to support you. We believe in what we're doing, but you're going to get your few that want a quick win. And unfortunately, that happened. It's going to happen. It's DeFi. We do everything we can to have contingency plans in place for that. But in the end, this is their money. And if they use you for a quick, very healthy gain, you can only do so much. And that's why we have our backdraft tax. And they got penalized a lot of money for cheating out of our project. Wish them well. But that is what drove kind of the decline and a little bit of panic selling from others. But to still end up 10x in this market, when I look around and I see a lot of red and still a lot of nosediving and things like that, it makes me insanely proud. And it took a little bit to get there, because you kind of have this feeling of like, oh, we're sinking. You know what I mean? Like that didn't last long, but it was never meant to be there to begin with. And I think in my position, lost sight of that. Our original goal was soft, slow growth, really constant. That's part of our tagline. We're the constant. And you kind of, that parabolic spike becomes a bit of a drug, right? It becomes a bit of this like alluring thing that you want to see again. And we do hope it will be there again. We want we want some nice spikes to get some buy pressure in, so people are like, I don't want to miss the next one, but really what we're looking for is constant steady growth. And I think that's what we're going to see in the next year. So when I look through what we've done in this red market right now, and I am referencing some notes here to make sure we talk through this stuff clearly. So when I look in the red market here, right, we're hopefully on our back end of that, right. This is a time heavily driven by our advisors where we build. This is our build time. This is our get dirt in your fingernails, pound the pavement, and just much And we have a lot of cool utilities that we've worked on. We have worked on an entire NFT collection that much of which was driven by me and produced and developed and deployed by Matt, my co-founder and partner. And it's really awesome to start driving these into fruition and knowing that 2023 is going to expand even bigger with what we've already started building now. It's one thing to say, oh, we're going to do this and eventually we'll launch it, but we've actually started deploying a lot of stuff already. One of those is our NFTs. We've got 3 levels of those NFTs. They've done very, very well. We sold out twice now. And the mission was to have 3 levels. One that's very elementary and kind of introductory NFT into the space or into our project rather, where people can not have a big investment and they can dabble in it. And that was like it was our I guess toe in the pond NFT, which is our level 1s, and they're all driven by Ember, our in-house mascot. And if you would have told me Ember would become this pivotal kind of like iconic figure of Ember, and where we're going, which I'll touch base on in a minute, I would have laughed, because I was like, it's just one piece of it, but he's become this like iconic figure of Ember that drives joy and smiles and mostly rewards. And I think that's the cool part about our level 1 and level 2 NFTs. They are all centered around Ember. Ember is our fun, lovable little crypto mascot. And we've found paths to leverage him as a utility beyond NFTs. The NFTs were kind of the starting point. And because we have this commitment to proper education and just being kind to people and making sure they know they have a safe environment where they can ask questions, and there's no such thing as dumb questions, creating libraries on our website, through our Zendesk portal, where people can go and further their knowledge. That's all great, but what we found we're missing was the reach to children. And while we can't market to kids, I mean, sure we can, we're really marketing to the parents. We thought, what a great branch to like expand Ember into something that you can touch and feel. I've said this for a long time. We want to humanize DeFi. We want to make it tangible. How do we make that tangible? Ember was our first step in doing that. So beyond our NFTs, we got into product development, and I'll elaborate on that in a minute. But it's just been amazing, to see an idea, a sketch turn into what it has. So look forward to kind of go through that in just a second. The last part about our NFTs is our level 3s, and those are what really kick things off with. We kind of worked backwards, kicked off our level 3s on launch and even pre-launch, I suppose, before we even launched the tokens. I think we were already selling them, and those are all handmade by yours truly. I take pride in every single one that I make, and determine, how much cooler could this be if we could bring the consumer into it. It's one thing to put cool ideas that I might come up with, or even my twin 12-year-old girls came up with at the time, and put them out there for people to digest, or even, feedback from the community. But what I found was really taking a kind of pulling inspiration from my traditional agency and entrepreneurial background, and creating an environment where the consumer can submit a form and let me know their budget and actually work with me on a vision they have for a custom NFT. So our level 3s are all shaped like our Ember logo, but they all carry different styles and patterns, textures, themes, and inspiration, origins. And so I don't think we're the first to do it, but I do think it's something we're going to continue to push very hard, which are custom one-off NFTs that people get the same value as those that have found ones that are in our library that they've purchased or invested in, but be able to be part of the creative process. And so we have an entire portal on our website that allows people to submit a form and get access to the reward pool that our level threes drive. So to talk about that real quick before we jump into further utility, all our NFTs are reward driven. We originally said because of the low price point of our level ones that that would just give you access to a lottery. We are going to be changing that in 2023. It will get you access to what we'll call an inner circle for kind of our lower budget, smaller budget NFT, and give people exclusive access to some really awesome things that I look forward to sharing with you guys in the new year. And it's a ticket. It's going to be a ticket that's going to get you really, really cool access. So that's the best way to explain where we want to take our level ones. Our level twos drive rewards into a pool. Those rewards are driven by a portion, 25% of the NFT sales of level twos go into that I contribute back instead of, that's typically compensation to me, paid an Ember. And then they go back into the reward pool. 25% of that does. We also contribute from our agency. So as we have, whether it's from our treasury, whether it's from Ember we have on hand, we contribute that on a monthly basis to ensure that there's always a solid reward pool going out to all level two NFT holders. BNB is not distributed to level twos. It's only Ember token. While we do realize that could create sell pressure, I think we've established we have a pretty rock solid and rock star community who sees the long-term value in Ember and believes in it and wants to hold on to it. And that's what we ask of you, is just hang on tight, because the ride's just not even beginning. Like we're still in line for like the big roller coaster ride. So I'm really, really excited to see a lot of smiles the next year. Lastly, for a utility for our reward pool for the level 3 NFTs is both BNB and Ember. So again, 25%, these are bought with or purchased or invested in with BNB. 25% of that does go directly back into the pool, so it continues to grow, and everybody gets to share that holds a level 3 NFT. We also contribute Ember, whether we do giveaways, contests, again, treasury contributions, corporate contributions, etc. We ensure that that's a relatively healthy reward pool every month. We can't control market conditions. We can't control people's investment strategies on whether they're buying NFTs, so on and so forth. But we will continually contribute to that pool to make sure everybody has a fair opportunity at monthly rewards for life. All you got to do is hang on to it. Keep it in your wallet. It lives there, and it will reward you. It will pay you every single month. And we're going to shoot, I hope, in the next year that with the, hopefully a rise in price with BNB and everything too, that the ROI on your investment is 3 to 6 months, fully paid for based on rewards. And we really hope that's about what it is right now. We really hope to speed that up so that you're immediately getting these rewards within 30, 60, 90 days. But no promises. That's just kind of our aim for 2023, so you get more value. So moving on back to furthering our utility. There's a lot of stuff that's in play. There's a lot of stuff we've talked about, experience NFTs, motorsports, etc. But the one thing I want to finish up on is this little character right behind me. So this has been our pet project since, I guess, early October. I think we've been working on this. We wanted to create a physical MB plush, a physical, tangible, touchable, squeezable MB doll, and that way kids have a safe and fun way of learning about DeFi, and something that builds trust with the parents, and creates dialogue with them, because I think there's a lot of parents that don't know about crypto. They don't know about DeFi. So we really are leveraging MB as like that first step into it, right? Build the trust with the parent, build the alignment, build the bridge to the child through the parent, and create an online resource, which will be called MBverse. We've already got the URL. We're working on that behind the scenes. Fill you in more on that on 2023 plans in a minute. But we wanted a safe online environment for kids to learn about DeFi, learn about Ember, and all of our partners. And MB is a great way to introduce that. And a lot of thought went into it, a lot of creativity, and a lot of teamwork. I think that the biggest thing I can highlight for you guys to know is I think naturally people think, oh, you're the creative and you're the CEO or what have you, but you're also the creative director and you're the designer, and this doesn't all come from me. I might be a vessel of delivery for what you finally see, but this yes, this was my vision, right? This was something I thought of doing. A lot of people brought this to life, and I will never claim fame to doing that on my own, because an immense amount of planning, thought, um, you know, do's, don'ts, everything was discussed with our entire team, our moderators, and our advisors, and so on and so forth. And it's a risk. We took marketing dollars that we earned over time, and even some of our own personal investments to bring this to life. And we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them being manufactured at this very moment. Fill you in more on that, but MB is going to be a big, big focus of ours for 2023. The other thing that I think we did well, and we need to do a little bit better at, and it comes down to time, really, is just committing that time, is just brand building. We push socials heavily. We did a lot of content development. I think if you know me well enough, my heart's in the right place to make sure that we are constantly building both the Ember agency and Ember token brand. But time is time. And, when you're in utility development and you're planning ahead, you have to find that balance. And I think, as early as we are in the game, in crypto and DeFi, that's just a balance I'm going to continue to work harder at, and make sure that I am committing adequate time to growing our brand, visually, verbally, etc., and making sure that that our mods and our shill team out there have plenty of content in the new year to help us grow. That is a big focal point of mine. That's going to require an expansion of the team, and that requires money. And money requires the charts to do better, and for people to learn about Ember as an agency. And we're making those connections, we're building those relationships, etc. So a lot more to come there. The other cool thing that I think we did at the right time, and this was heavily driven by advisory and community feedback, was staking. In a red market and in a bear market, is the one thing that you can do, especially with an RFI driven token like ours, something that has taxes coming from it from reflections when others are buying and selling. When that's not happening, you're not getting those reflections, right? They were really strong for the first, 2 months, 3 months. It really started to slow down in November, December through this crypto winter. And that's when we deployed, I think it was, I'm going to say early November, late October was when we deployed staking. And we did LP staking. That creates a lot of stability, not just for us, but for you, and creates guaranteed rewards that you get to embrace, through these kind of quiet times and slow times. So I think that was one thing I was really proud to put out there, and we're going to be pushing that more and more in the next year. We love our reflections, but we want to make sure that in these slow times, in any slow times, that you have an option to go in and stake those tokens. And that was one thing I was really proud that we did. And then lastly, for 2022, if I had to really kind of reminisce on a few things that I'm thankful for, I've gone through a couple of them already, is the relationships we built, not just with our team, not just with our community, and not just with our advisors. A lot of those were pre-existing, but how some of these relationships have evolved. I have the benefit of admitting the I don't want to say the doubt that I had when we first started, thinking like, gosh, how involved are our mods going to get? I'm blessed to tell you that every single morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can count on a solid 6 to 12 people hopping in chat in our private portal and discussing daily tasks, daily to-dos, ideas, visions, whatever it is that comes to mind, and keeping each other honest and accountable, especially me. I'm always filled with ideas. I'm always filled with opportunity. And they really help keep me reined in to say, hey, let's plan those out. But right now, this is where we got to focus. And while I'm confident in myself to do that, they really go way out of their way to invest time into me, time into Ember, and into our token and our community. And my hat is off to our team, because I could have never dreamed of having a more communicative, on point, thought-provoking, and just fearless team side by side with me as we go into our first full calendar year. It is probably the most humbling thing I've ever experienced in business. And I couldn't be more thankful. Part of those relationships also involve our advisors, David Hunter being one of them, and he's one that I want to highlight. You guys have heard his name. If you haven't, you will. David is not just a great friend. We are working on stuff in and outside of DeFi. Got to know him really well, and he's been a pivotal, kind of a pivotal person in a lot of ways. He's given Matt and I great advisory throughout the launch of Ember, and throughout kind of making our way through this treacherous crypto winter market that we've been in, and ensuring that we keep our heads on straight. I think it's so easy to get panicked, right? And especially when you're in a new space like we are. It's new to us, at least. And Matt and I do a lot of talking, and a lot of that talking is really driven by our advisors. So hats off to you guys as well. You keep us honest, you keep us focused, and you keep us on our toes, because we have to be. There's always going to be bad actors out there. Fortunately, we haven't seen a lot of it. We've had really nothing but a lot of good people. You got a few here and there. Those are going to happen. They're bumps in the road. But while I'm on the subject of that, David has put years into his business, which is Blockstar, and he's going to be bringing a lot of really cool utility to the market, which he's already started, just like us. It's not just this big proposed thing. Like, David's already knee deep in it. He's been building Blockstar for years, and a lot of really amazing things are going to be deployed. And I'm proud to say that I get to be a part of that, along with some of our other mods, to support David in that journey, and that will drive growth for our agency. That will drive growth for our token, because he's launching a first of its kind hybrid exchange next year. I'm going to leave it at that, and I'll let David speak to that in a future podcast in the new year. But a lot of amazing things are coming out of this, and Blockstar is going to become a big focal point of my time, and a lot of team members' time. We still have a lot of agency clients. We have big projects starting with some of our non-DeFi clients for user experience design, brand development, UI design, graphic design, marketing, really advanced development. We got a lot of really cool stuff that we're working on in the new year, in and outside of this space. So look forward to sharing that with you guys as well. So really, looking at our launch, looking at the community we've built, looking at the utility we've started to produce, and knowing that we've made it through our first crypto winter, and still going through it to some degree, but I feel like we've been through the worst, and I couldn't be more proud. I really couldn't. Like, I say this with the utmost joy that we have a lot to look forward to in 2023. So we're gonna jump into that. The biggest thing I can tell you is, after all the work that's gone in to this lovable little character, Emby, we've had a lot of pre-orders. We did launch pre-orders in November, and we're really humbled, by the amount of orders that came in for Emby, knowing that a lot of our back end, automations and communication methods, emails, things like that aren't even in place yet. We're still building those out. We had a lot of interest in it because I think people see a different side of crypto with this, right? And hopefully it's a different side of us, that we'd be willing to take the leap of faith and put time into children, and onboard the future diamond-handed investors of the next few decades, right? I'm proud to tell you that the first delivery of our produced MB plush toys are going to be in the first 2 weeks of January. So we're expecting them mid-January. It might be closer to late January. It just really depends on a lot of factors. But I know within the first 30 days, I guess I'll say, in the new year, we're expecting delivery of hundreds and hundreds of these. I'm going to look like Gru from Minions, and it's going to be fun. We're excited to announce that all the pre-orders, as soon as MB's here, are going to you're going to start getting those packaged and getting those out to you guys. Outside of that, we also have a really cool opportunity for some of you curious, is this just going to be an online only thing? Is this going to be just kind of word of mouth, or just tell your friends? No, it's not. I'm proud to tell you that through one of our local clients, we already have retail opportunity for 3 high volume, high traffic brick and mortar stores. Eric with Extra Mile Tools, who is one of our investors as well, and holders, obviously, as well as a local small business owner and friend of mine, has a dedicated toy section of his very rapidly growing brick and mortar business. And when he invested in Ember, he's like, man, I wish I could have a way to get Ember and just sell that in our store somehow. And it just resonated with me. It just sat there and sat there. And I'm like, there's no easy way. You can't have just like an ATM kiosk, right? That just doesn't work like that. When I approached him and told him what we were doing, he was like, well, I got a toy section, dedicated in our stores, right? And I was like, no, I didn't. He was like, dude, I'd love to sell these. And I was like, this is incredible. So right out of the gate, we're going to have retail opportunities for these. Why does that matter? It matters because we're going to be able to reach all new holders, all new investors. And trust me when I tell you, new people to DeFi are going to be listening to the people that brought them there. I know I do. I did. I listened to people like David. I listened to people like Stu, and even the people that got me into crypto 6-7 years ago. I still communicate with them, ask their advice, ask their opinions. And I promise you, no 7-year-old is going to be like, Mom, I want to sell my Ember so I can go buy something, right? Or I want to go sell my BST token or whatever it is they're holding. They are the diamond hands of the future. I stand by that statement until somebody proves me wrong. Children and educated parents, to me, are going to be the future of crypto. It is what it is. I don't see any other way to explain that. Get them in early, get them educated, get them in before bad habits and bad behavior starts in DeFi. Don't even introduce them to it. Introduce them with proper education, clean content, resources, fun, inspirational downloads, coloring books, toys, anything that keeps them, focused and centered around what their long-term investment looks like, but making it fun. That's what we're committed to. So why does that matter? We're going to bring and hopefully build the world of crypto and Ember and introduce it to a lot of new people. And I think I can't express how important that is. It's easy. I've said this a million times on AMAs. It's easy to market to people in crypto. It's really hard to get new people in unless they just naturally have that tendency and they don't know where to go. When you're trying to sell this to somebody, sometimes I'm sure most of you listening in have probably dealt with that, where, you're trying to, you're hyped up on it, you're geeked out by it. And then you go to talk to somebody and they're like, crypto, yuck, it's scammy. And it's like, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Let this be proof. Let us work hard and trust us to build new holders, bring new people into DeFi, and build these relationships with the parents because they're looking out for their kids' future. And I think we could play a big part in that. So as we prep orders to go out from pre-sale, obviously we'll be marketing the heck out of Emby. We will be pushing for other retail opportunities, etc. And what's really cool is Eric actually has a really cool direct tie with a separate business to getting our product on Amazon. We just got to provide him the product. He gets it listed. That's it. So I promise it's probably about that easy, according to what he's told me. And I'm excited because getting into Amazon in high traffic environments is honestly not easy. But we're going to go approach any toy stores we can, any retail outlets possible, and further Emby's reach as we build out Embyverse. So I'm going to jump into that super quick. Embyverse is really going to be the digital playground for Emby. It's a place that parents can go and kids of all ages. We're going to have dedicated environments and resources for specific age groups over time. That'll take some time to develop, but really we want a place where kids can go get digital downloads like coloring pages and wallpapers for their iPad or their phone or whatever. Or the parents can get it for them, a way to connect their wallets so we can get early access and really early education into how Wallet Connects work. And excited to announce that we'll be working with David Hunter and Blockstar on that utility to be able to incorporate wallets. Very, very excited about that for kids and for parents to have custodial management of those wallets. Thirdly, we're going to have online games. We're going to be building out Web3 games. And ideally, we're going to push that to a P2E or play to earn over time. But in the meantime, we're going to have some fun resources where kids can have a safe place to go in and play and have it themed around crypto. Not just play any game, but actually start to hear terms or see words or see different elements of this or metaphors of crypto that we can incorporate into games over time. That's really something we're very, very excited about. We're also gonna have puzzles on there, things that crank their brain a little bit. We want education to be fun. but excuse me, we also want it to be, challenging in a fun way. And I think puzzles and things like that are a great way of doing that. And while we're on the subject of puzzles, the other cool thing is we're going to be taking that offline too. So part of our team has been working on concepts for games, card games, and physically printed crypto objects. I'll just leave it at that. That are Ember branded or Ember related. That I think will just change the way people think about crypto, and that is something I'm really proud of. And then really in beyond the first quarter, we have a lot to plan for Blockstar. So MB's going to be consuming a lot of that, but so is Blockstar. Blockstar is something you should go do some research on. You can go over to blockstar.site and check out all the links there on where you can navigate in that ecosystem. It is without diving too much in, it's going to be an incredible journey for a lot of people. Between the exchange launching that David's been working on for a while, we've got Blockstar World. He's got stuff I probably shouldn't even say right now. I'll let him speak to it. So a lot of really cool stuff. And visually, as creatives and as developers, we're going to be able to help support that. We're going to help Blockstar grow. We're going to leverage our agency talents to do that. The more Blockstar grows, the more Ember grows. I'm proud to say that we're going to be one of the first tokens listed on that new exchange. As users get brought in and as other tokens get deployed on there, it's just going to bring more and more and more traffic. So I'm really, really excited to announce that we will be one of the first tokens listed on the Blockstar hybrid exchange. Very, very, very pumped about that. David, separate from Blockstar, is somebody that many of us have all gotten to know quite well. He immerses himself in this environment. Thankful for that friendship and his leadership, both for Blockstar and especially for Ember. So we'll continue to work hand in hand with David in supporting his journey. I know a lot of our moderators for Ember are also contributing a ton of time. I mean, a ton of time into ensuring the outreach and growth and brand awareness of Blockstar. A lot of creative stuff we're doing, everything from a brand refresh, kind of a shiny new paint job that we're working on with David, to fresh user experiences, to all these utilities getting rolled out that we're going to be building content for, and visuals and videos and all kinds of really, really amazing things as we dive into 2023. So please be on the lookout for Blockstar. And I assure you, if you're looking for another token to invest in, please look into BST token. That is the native currency of Blockstar, and it's going to be a big part of that ecosystem. So while you're sitting on your Ember, if you're sitting on BNB and you're waiting for Ember to just kind of spike back up, it's going to happen. I do believe that. I would definitely suggest getting into the Blockstar BST token. So long story short, really once we get through Q1, which is going to be MB and Blockstar focus, we're really going to start pushing our token again. I think it's important that we do that. We're going to let things go organically like we always wanted to. And the reason we're doing it this way, which some of you may disagree with, but I want to explain why. There is a philosophy behind it. And it's exactly what I said originally and said earlier in this podcast. We're an agency first model. As we serve the agency serves the token. So if we drop what we're doing just to get chart growth, who's to say some 5 new people come in and buy big and it grows in a month, and then they all sell out. All that hard work and linear, tunnel vision focus kind of went to nothing, right? But if we continually support the agency, support our ecosystem, support our partners, and let that growth kind of transcend and permeate through the token organically, that's where we want to be in the first quarter. Quarter two, when we're really expecting it to start to run up, once the recovery started to kick in the market, we're hoping, that's where we really want to start marketing heavy again. We might start doing AMAs again. We're going to be doing more blogging. We're going to be doing more, videos on Twitch and YouTube and talking with other influencers and things like that. The tokens growth is important. I know a lot of people have investment in that, but I want to remind you that as Ember grows, the token grows, because we dedicate 25% of our agency revenue right back in to that chart. And it may not always go in the chart. Sometimes we use it to feed liquidity, but that liquidity is going to keep things stable and keep things healthy and give us a lot of support from the bottom side. So while you may not see big parabolic spikes, I don't want our investments as an agency and back into our own product to be someone else's exit liquidity. So sometimes we do, we listen to our advisors, obviously, and we will put that into liquidity and create a much more stable baseline for Ember. So be on the lookout for that. We are going to watch and see what the token does naturally through the first part of the year, but expect a lot of marketing in Q2. I know that this is a lot of content to digest. I really wanted to keep this to about 15, 20 minutes. But there's so much to go through and stuff I didn't even touch on, like motorsports and experience NFTs and what's going to come in 2023 for standard NFTs. I'm thinking about building out an entire epic line of NFTs, which I'm not even going to go into right now. So there's a lot of cool stuff that we hope to share with you in the new year and in future podcasts. I hope you found some of this to answer the questions that you might have or that have been top of mind for you for the past few months during kind of the stagnant time of the market. I hope that you can see the energy and feel the energy from me because it's high. And it's high because I'm excited, I'm proud of Ember, and I'm proud of our team. You guys have been incredible as our investors. And if you're not an investor, I would tell you right now is a great time to get into Ember and to get into the BST token. They are both going to do amazing things in 2023. So without further ado, I just want to thank you for listening in on today's podcast. In this volatile world of DeFi, we are the constant. We have a relentless, unapologetic commitment to excellence in this space to ensure that you have a safe path ahead. This has been our 9th podcast episode of Ember episodes, which was a wrap up of 2022 and what's to come in 2023. I will leave you with my final words of wisdom. Every day is a chance to be better than you were the day before. Chin up, eyes forward. God bless y'all.